Well, hello there, and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
What have you guys been up to, and what is going on with with the music, babe?
Oh, I thought you said
But I said, what up, pause, babe?
All right. All right. We got it.
So, what have you guys been doing? Here we go. We're gonna get things going. All right. So remember, we do this GodFidence every Monday, 5 p.m. East Central Standard Time, and then 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Good to see you guys. Let me get my little comments. Oh, you guys can see the banner. So this GodFidence, for those that are joining us for the first time, it is for people that are single, married, widowed, dating.
It's all about relationship.
All about relationships, and then we talk about some other stuff like our business. And
right.
Not that Joe asked for our business, but we try to tell you a little bit of everything that's going on. So we like to get going a little bit early. And hey, everybody!
And Q likes to get in your tea, so you try to get you to spill your tea.
Yeah. So if you're gonna be a guest, you're gonna have to tell a little bit of something. You may not want to, but that's how we do it. Just keeping it real. That's all we're saying. So I'm gonna cut the little ticker off. Let's see. So you guys are already what's going on, Rashana. So our friend Rashana spent the part of our Valentine's with us, her and her husband Jamal. We went to dinner at one of our favorite spots. We ain't gonna tell people because we don't want everybody showing up at our favorite spot. And we like, why they there?
Especially your cousins, because they'll take over and then there won't be no nice place to go.
We went to our favorite little spot. And then what happens? This particular spot is very quaint. Thank you, Dave. It's very quaint, and really, people that go there, it's like when you're chatting with one another, you're whispering and you're having a whole conversation, and you're just kind of being a little bit intimate, and you're talking to one another like this. But old girl on the other table was talking about everything, and we were like, "What is happening right now? Why is she talking to us?" And the couple that's sitting right next to her.
And we was always across the room.
And then her guests who finally showed up, of course, they got to greet them, which is fine. Hey, girl, we ain't seen. Look, y'all, we know the whole conversation. At this place, you're not supposed to know nobody's conversation. It's supposed to be private. Right. So for those of you guys, look, we're trying to talk about, we heard the whole, heard the whole conversation. When you guys go out to dinner, and this is a good subject, maybe we need to talk about this in another conversation, is when you go out to dinner and it's just you and your man or your woman, do y'all talk loud to the rest of the community of people that are around you, or do you kind of keep it a little bit intimate between you and the person? Is that important?
Yes, it's important. Call respect for the people that are around you.
Right.
For one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That was getting
but normally when you hear people talking like that, it's an argument. But she wasn't even arguing, they were just talking. She put a sock in it.
Full of city, I'm telling you, hearing aid. She need a hearing aid.
Rashana and Jamal is one of our favorite people to go out with.
They are.
Because they're like us. They grab the check.
They always they never hear.
They don't have alligator arms. You don't reach.
Don't reach for the check. They always trying to grab it.
Right, grab the fast.
Look, and the waiter brought a separate checks, and here they come trying to talk about here. Give us a check. You're like, oh, get on. But we appreciate it. We thank you. So you guys, look, we cannot belabor.
Right.
We forget.
Got to get this going.
Today, if you guys didn't see it, because I'm not sure how this streamer or post our advertisement, but we got some special guests today, and we want to get it in. And so, thank you, Ro, for posting and asking people to join us today. So, if you're a guest and you've been joining every week, just like you go to church, can you share with a friend and let them know that you come on and you're not just hoarding the information, but you know that somebody could definitely use what we're sharing. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes we get serious. Last week was a great conversation. You should go back and watch it if you didn't see it. And so we've got some friends of ours that are going to join us today. Some of you guys have heard us talking about this gentleman, and then his wife will be new to you, and will be new to us too as we get a chance to know her in a more intimate way.
They always, both of them want to serve. And help people. That's what I love about them both. They do. Really do.
Look, I'm gonna pop them in since we're talking about them.
Hey there.
Hey there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, look at here. So look, you guys.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. So we're gonna be quick and hot and fast tonight.
Hot, quick, black, and anointed. Hot, quick, black, and anointed.
Okay, you guys, we'll be saying stuff I ain't never heard of before. And so, but we're gonna make it quick tonight. Danita gets up very early in the morning. She was just telling us her time schedule is at 4:30 in the a.m. and that is not me, but I'm so we've got tonight, everyone, Darcy and Danita. So yes. I'm going to ask Fuller a question before you guys
D&D.
D&D.
Or D&D. Yes. D&D. Thank y'all.
So
good to see both of you.
Yes. Well, thank you. It's so good to see you guys. I got to ask Fuller a question. So Fuller, how do you know Darcy?
I know him from the church.
Okay.
And when I got to know him at the church, he was serving in the maintenance ministry. And I don't know, it just felt like I always knew him.
Serving in the maintenance ministry, how?
Cutting grass, serving
on the motors
right.
What you call it? We don't even know what it's called. We don't even know what it's called no more. That's how bougie you done got, baby.
You bougie, so you got somebody credit for you. Because you know I'm not good.
Right.
I'm allergic to work.
But Fuller saw Darcy, you guys, out in the at the church. Our church really has a large property. You saw Darcy on the lawnmower, riding lawnmower, cutting the grass.
Yeah, he said one day I think he wanted to talk to me or something. I don't know.
Did you know him?
Sure. No.
Did you ever heard of him? Okay.
No. Just by seeing him waving, like I do everybody, just wave.
Isn't that nice and Fuller to wave at you, Mr. Lawnmower Man?
Right.
Yeah. And then he came in my office with his uniform on and stuff and work uniform, and I hugged him. He said, he was surprised that I would hug him because I had on shirt and tie, but everybody deserves to be treated with love. I don't care what they do, because you don't know what they're capable of or their history. So you try to judge them by what you see, but it's more to them than what they see. Much more.
Thank you so much,
Mr. Darcy. Yes. So
now he gets
to pick up.
Okay.
From there, Darcy, why were you cutting the grass at World Changers?
I will give you the short version. So, first of all, hello everybody. Hello Bishop. Hello, darling. I was cutting grass because, first of all, I was supposed to be in the office, but because I speak French, I couldn't type fast enough. So, because I missed the speed test, they said, "Hey, we have a position available." I said, "What position?" They said, maintenance. I said, maintenance? So you have to understand, I never cut grass in my life. So it was the first time for me to cut grass at the church, because where I used to live, we have people that we used to pay to cut grass. So it was a very humbling experience for me, and it was great. I mean, I have a lot of fun doing that.
And you are from where? And tell us a little bit about Darcy and your family so that they understand why you said what you just said about cutting. Yes.
So I was born in Paris, France, but my parents are originally from Gabon, Central Africa. So I live between France and Gabon. And so my dad was a businessman who used to sell banks worldwide. So it create a bank and then make the bank go international. And my mom was a university teacher. She has 2 PhD in English. So I live a very privileged life. We have drivers, we have, 4 housekeepers. So when I left Gabon, yes, 4. So when I left Gabon, through France, then I came to the United States, I have to start back from scratch. So when I was waiting for my paperwork, I have to get any type of job. So I was at job, so maybe I can work here. And then when I missed the test on the typing thing, they said, you have to cut grass. And I started cutting grass, and people were amazed. You never cut grass in your life? I said, no. So that's a short story of that, That's how it happened.
So you never know. You never know.
And how long did you cut grass?
for 3.5 years, just like Jesus ministry.
Darcy. So Darcy, then, okay, so I'm going to put a pause on that because I need you to come back now and tell us more about Darcy, who you are, but I'm going to go to Danita. So Danita can tell us about her. Then we're going to talk about you guys and your relationship. So Danita, introduce yourself and tell us where you're from, a little bit about yourself, what you do, and all of that.
Well, hi. My name is Danita Solomon. Before I got married to Darcy, I was a Solomon. I am the very proud daughter of the late Elder Donald Ray and Eldris Joyce Gray Solomon. My mother and father were ministers in the Baptist church. I grew up in the church and I sang in the youth choir all my life. Kinston, North Carolina is a very small city in Eastern North Carolina. I went to the University of North Carolina at Greensboro to study social work, going after my sister, who I was very proud of. She was a social worker, very hard worker. And while I was there, lost both of my parents in a very, very short amount of time. And while I was there, I had started a poetry reading on campus for students that had suicidal thoughts, that didn't want to go to the club, that wanted to do something creative. And so I started a poetry reading called Just Right Entertainment. And it was there that I met Darcy and his whole family and the African Student Association. And that's pretty much how we all began. They wrapped their arms around me when I lost both of my parents. And when I met him, I met community. And we've never stopped serving since that day.
Wow.
But by day, I'm an energy consultant, and I am been doing that now for a very long time. And I also have my own grief recovery business where I help people recover from grief. So Darcy and I travel the world and we talk to people about, monetizing business. And while we're doing that, we find that a lot of the people that are doing business also have unresolved post-traumatic stress that's preventing them from really going further in life. And I use that outlet while he's coaching them to help them start their path to mental healing.
Wow, that's good. Do you have something?
No, she's helping me in my new assignment of a grief share, and she's giving me some good counsel and some good advice, and I appreciate that. And you're reading several books. You read several books to help people.
Yes, I've wrote 9 books. I'm working on my 10th book. My 10th book will be released next month. I write curriculums for churches and organizations that are looking to help develop creative outlets to recover from grief. I also help Darcy with his contracts in his business, in our business. I help my children and other parents that are looking to get their kids started with writing books. So anything related to contracts, documents, all those types of things, I've technical writer, so I enjoy doing that.
Good. So okay, now I got a little question about how you guys ended up falling in love.
Oh, I love that. I'll let you talk about that.
Come on, Darcy. Make sure you get it right now, Darcy, because you gotta ask.
Oh, I'm with you. You're gonna get it right.
I'm gonna get it right.
Because I'm a pitch if you don't.
Yeah, that French voice is romantic, full of sin.
So what happened is that I was very impressed by Danita when I met her, because back then on campus, we both went to UNCG, North Carolina, Greensboro, and she was like, people were going to the club, so you have a choice. You go to the club or you go into an event. And she was bringing like 150 people, 160 people. Oh my God. And then one of my friends already introduced us, like, okay, this is Darcy, Danita. I said, okay, she's really pretty. Okay, let me just check it out and to see what she's doing. So I realized that when she was doing an event, it was no music. So, I used to be a DJ, international DJ for a long time. So I said, hey, you need to put some Tupac and big, you cannot just have an event like that. You need some music before and after. We cannot just come and, we have to do something. I can help you. What time do you set up? So I came, help us set up. So we start talking and stuff like that.
Oh, he helped, all right.
Yeah. So at that time, my mind was not. I was not going to church. I was not like going to church seriously back then. So it was just like, okay, she looked nice. Let's see, what we can do. It was no like long-term vision. I knew she was a good woman, but it was just like, okay, let's just try to know each other. And then we became very good friends because back then I was trying to go too fast and she really stopped me. Like she was, not responding to my phone call and stuff like that. I said, okay, I'm not going to chase you down. Okay. So whatever that you try to do, I moved to Atlanta, but we kept in touch. Can you take it from there?
Yeah, we kept in touch, and he was my friend, as he said, and I continued on with my my master's degree at the University of Pittsburgh. I was also teaching social work at Carlow University in Pittsburgh, and he came up a couple of times to visit, and during the times he would come, he would tell me, I love you. I said, I love you too, but we're friends. And he was just like, but I want you to be my wife. And I was just like, but I'm your friend. And my time at that point, I was just really wanting a friend. I wanted someone that I could, communicate with, someone that could, hold my truths as they were developing. I had just, like I said, lost both of my parents, had developed PTSD by that time, and was really trying to navigate this world without parents. And,
And how old were you, Danita?
I was roughly 22, 23. Wow. And it was a lot of things that God was blessing me with at that time. And, my siblings were definitely involved in, doing their own thing and trying to heal at the same time. But we were not yet in a place as siblings to discuss the forced blunt trauma of losing both of our parents. So I had to look to community, as I keep talking about, to start healing. And Darcy was one of those pieces of home in Greensboro, North Carolina, that I held on to. He was a really, really good friend. And what he didn't say is that we utilized Tupac. That was our language of love, because little do we know, he was learning English at the time. And, one would say, well, how would you want to be involved with someone that can't speak your language? Trust me, words are just an added expression that God gives. I can look in your eyes all day, and I did many of times, and our conversations got really heated in the kitchen. That's why we got married real soon after that, because we both love God, and I didn't want to do the wrong thing, but whatever. Yeah, so to make a long story short, the beautiful thing happened. I went to Pittsburgh. He came to Pittsburgh. I came to Atlanta. We did that a couple of times. And long story short, the last time I went to Atlanta, he was just like, will you marry me? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do that. But I'm gonna live in Pittsburgh, and you're gonna come and visit me, because I'm on this academic track. I want to get tenured. I want to do my thing. I'm buying my first home. I'm gonna be there. And he was just like, okay, no problem. So the great thing about it is he never pressured me or anything. When he came to Pittsburgh to visit, he asked me, did I know the Lord? And I said, yeah, I know about him. But it was just a topical understanding. So the next time I flew down to Atlanta, he took me to World Changers. And I went to a Bible study where I heard Minister Philip Baker talking about the never-ending unconditional love of God. And between he, Bishop Fuller, your praise and worship, Darlene, Pastor Taffy, Pastor Dollar, all of you all changed my world. And when I went back to Pittsburgh changed. And so when Darcy came back up, everyone was just like, oh, is he going to give you an engagement ring? Well, no, he didn't give me an engagement ring. The next time I went to Atlanta, he took me into the bookstore and brought me all types of series on love, marriage, grace, forgiveness, healing, and no more lack was the message that changed my life by Pastor Creflo Dollar. And that is the message that really opened my heart up to the possibility of being someone's wife, because by that time I had shut off wanting to have kids, wanting to get married, because PTSD trauma does that to you. When you lose someone, you don't want to go through that again. And so it helped to soften my heart to let him in. And, you know, the rest is really history from there.
You know, it's interesting, Danita, as I'm listening to you, just in the back of my mind, I said to myself, I wonder if we as women or men, when you're thinking about you're falling in love with someone, before we rush to the next ring part, that we someone like a Darcy would come along and say, you know, yes, I want to marry you, but first I want you to be whole in every area. I want you to read. I want you to get an understanding of who God is, because you become equally yoked. Your lives will be so much better when you're both, somebody's at one church or thinking differently or all of that. So what you did, Darcy, I'm sure that changed Danita's life. Well, it did change her life forever. And so, so Darcy, how did you end up at World Changers again?
So, oh my God, I was in between France. So in 2001, I just moved to Atlanta from Greensboro, and I was looking for home church. You know, I used to go to Pastor Otis Lockett Evangel Fellowship Church in Greensboro. So I knew that you have to find a home church. I was like, where am I going to find a church? So I was leaving my cousin. I said, like, you know, do you have church? He said, like, no, he was not going to church. And then I was flipping the channels, and I saw a man with a very nice European suit. I said, what type of suit is that? It was Pastor Dar. So I didn't even think about the message. You know, I'm from Paris. So I said, what type of suit is that? What? You know, it's really rare that you see somebody wearing nice suit like that. I know about suit. You know, just like Bishop Fuller would love clothes. I said, like, this is some. So I was just thinking about where he got his suit from, not really what he was preaching about. So then I started listening to the message, and eventually I put the address down. Back then I used to live in Lawrenceville. So I drove, and I said, like, okay, what's your address? And I came on, and as soon as I walked into the church, a peace came to my heart. I said, this is it. I mean, like when I came to the entrance of the dome, and the more I was coming close to the pulpit to look for a place to sit, more peace came. I was like, okay, I got my church. So when Pastor was preaching, and I believe I don't remember what message, but he was preaching on business and stuff like that. And then, because one of the things, I didn't want to go to church because I'm a business person. I said, like, nobody talk about God and business, you know, because my mom, back then, she was Pentecostal. What is it? Pentecost? Right. So, you know, they wear a long dress and stuff like that.
Pentecostal.
Yeah,
Pentecostal.
Pentecostal.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
said Pentecostal.
Yeah.
Pentecostal.
yeah. So I was like, I don't want to have a church like that. You know, it's like, it's not me. So I said, I can be part of. Okay, you talk about God, you talk about family, you talk about business, together, kingdom. Okay, all right, I like it. So that's I joined the church, and that's it. And the more I was listening to the word of God, it was powerful. Then I brought my mom, who back then used to live in Athens, and I said, this is my church. And but back then I was living in between France and Atlanta. So I was leaving to go to France and come back, and I was doing a lot of back and forth. So I let my mom stay at church, and she met you know, God bless her soul, Sister Joan Hogan. And that's when she said, hey, you know, you need to do the translation and stuff. I do Spanish. Do you want to do French? So my mom said, hey, do you know we do French now? I said, we do French at the church? So I mean, no, I mean, like, in College Park, church, French, you know. So as soon as she started doing it, more French people, you know, start coming. So we knew that Pastor people knew about Pastor Dollar overseas, but not in French. And then my mom said, "Do you want to translate?" I said, "That's not my thing. You know, I'm about sound. I translate. It's not my thing." So when I tried the first time, peace came through, and I became part of it, and my life started changing because I have to listen to Pastor message more and more. So message, start changing me on the inside. And that's when, I met Bishop Fuller back then, because after that, I started working at the church because I couldn't find a job anywhere at that time. So that's really, everything started moving very fast when I start translating. Like as soon as I start serving at the church, serving without looking for any type of money, that's where the idea, everything start coming, the concept, everything starts when my life start changing when I start serving. That's the best way I can talk about it like that.
Nothing goes unnoticed or unrewarded.
Yes,
because you serving is a platform to fulfilling destiny.
Yeah,
absolutely, Bishop.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, and so now you guys have met each other. Now, I just find it really interesting. I guess I've had some misconceptions over the years. When you talk about dating someone from another country, Danita, how that relationship, conversation, the type of person that you end up dating. I remember I dated this guy that was from, I don't know, maybe we were hollering at each other, but it was from another country, right? And so they're a little bit more aggressive, a little bit different than the people from, where I was from. So is there, from your perspective, and this is a question for you too, Darcy, you've dated maybe people from within your own country, and then now you're dating each other. Is the love language is the same, but the approach, communication is it difficult, or was it easy? Because you guys look so beautiful together, but I don't know if it was so easy to make all of this happen as you guys have journeyed for the last 15 minutes into this conversation. So how was love and the communication? This is a safe space, and there are people on here who probably have thought about dating somebody from another country.
We would love to be able, and we thank you for creating space for us. And I think that it's a topic that is not talked about enough, because I think on both sides of the church, in any church, there are people that are curious, and we can break down those barriers of curiosity with our stories. And we wish to be that light where people will open up. So, they don't have to stay by themselves if they don't want to. Open yourselves up to the diaspora, to the world. But do you want to talk about it first, and I will after?
Yes. So this is what people need to understand. Most people, unfortunately, I don't know, it's about personality as well. Most story that I heard, unfortunately, are bad story about somebody, especially from African descent, who was with somebody from the United States. I believe that story was different because, first of all, I have to talk about my parents. So my dad didn't have 10 wives. He had one. Okay.
I was about to say they had 10.
No, I'm just saying because sometimes that's what people think about sometimes. So it was none of this kind of stuff. So I'm coming from a home where my dad was very respectful to my mom. And and then I was well traveled, so it was not, I didn't have this closed mindset that I have to be with somebody from my own country. It was always like, if I have to meet somebody from Europe or Asia, from America, I'm fine, because I was already open-minded like that. So Danita was exactly what I was looking for. Like people like I did Miles Monroe back in the day, we used to do that. You have to do the list. So on my list, that's my list right there. Everything on my list, it was there. It was just, and then for her, when she showed me her list, I was her list. And I know that sometimes people don't want to talk about this kind of stuff, that you have to write a list, but is that everything I desire in my deepest desire secret, Danita got it. So it was very easy for me, and we have the same value system. Sometimes people think about the culture. Our value system was the same. We have the name of our kids before they were born. It was prophesied to us like we will have exactly 2 girls, 1 boy. That's exactly what happened. So a lot of things to us was very easy because like we were friends for real. So that really helped a lot in the way we are doing things. I never have, we always said the things we said like, I'm gonna take everything good from my culture, you're gonna take everything good from your culture, and we're gonna put it together, but make sure that the Bible will be our foundation. So it was not like, oh, in my country we're doing that. And she was like, no, in North Carolina we're doing that. It was more like, let's find out what good things that we can do both were great, and let's put it together. And everything that we feel like is not good from our culture, let's put that on the side. But let's make sure that we try to have a Bible-based center marriage, not a Gabonese French marriage, not a North Carolina marriage. So that really helps us a lot. So and then if we have an argument, we never have an argument that you American doing that to me, and she's not gonna tell me you French African doing that. We don't go that low in any arguments, So we always have that respect from the gate. And my mom loved Anita. Like the first meeting, she just loved her. My family, even my brother, everybody said that if anything happened, I'm taking Anita's side. So across the board, everybody adopt her and the same way in our family. So that's, I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, I would just want to say, I did this poem before. It was called Deeply Rooted. And it talks about a lot of the things that are layered in what we're taught at World Changers. And it's about how we go about renewing our mind. And a lot of times when we think of Africa, in many settings, we think of roots, we think of slavery, we think of all the really demeaning and vile things that happened to our people. But it causes those deep roots of people feeling as though if you're going to marry someone from another country, you have that mindset. So you don't think that there are any streets, there are any homes, there are any roads. You don't think there's anything but jungle in Africa. So that's another thought. Another mindset that comes with that is when you do, a person does meet someone that is from Africa, depending on the perception, there's a perception that, there's this element of control. And then from there comes an exile mentality. And I remember the first time when we talked about getting together, our family members were just like, with me from North Carolina, you may not see your kids again, and make sure you get your paperwork in order. Now, they had never traveled anywhere outside of North Carolina, but that was their mindset. And so we fixed all of that through the favor and the foundation of God. When we got married, we took out a map. We showed everybody where Gabon was. We showed everybody how to get their passports. We talked to everybody about family. When time and finances permitted, I took my aunt, who was the closest thing to me since my parents passed away, who functioned as my mom, over to Gabon to be on the streets of Gabon. And she could see the privilege that Darcy came from, the home that Darcy's father built for his mom, the staff that mom has there, the driving and, all of those things, folding your underwear, all those, making your meals, all of that. And she was floored. She was like, Weezy. She calls me Weezy. I didn't know it was like that. And so she became an ambassador, not just for us, but for Africa, for Belgium, for Gabon, for France. And I think it's important.
That's a good place to stop.
Right. That you defy those and break down those nasty historical mindsets and those frames of thought and create new thought. And we did that.
So, you know, Danita, you said a whole lot, and there's so much more. I know, as we were just saying to each other, so much more to unpack there, because there are people, and I had in my own way that stinking thinking of where people came from and who they are without knowing anything about them. It's just what society makes you think.
Purposely. That's what comes across in the media, because they want to demean. But Africa is one of the richest countries in the world.
Yeah, but I know they was folding your drawers. They folding your drawers, Darcy? Darcy, that's how y'all doing it there? They folding your drawers?
I was not making my bed, you know, until a certain age. I mean,
it is true.
Not making my bed, you know, they call us for breakfast. Somebody was holding our son. Somebody was, you know, cooking for our kids. I mean, you know, we were just chilling. I mean, you know,
and then you came here and started working and cutting the grass.
Yes.
I'm telling you. And so, and then, but we get a chance to talk about where Darcy is now.
Right.
So we can't keep talking because we got a whole bunch.
Right.
Y'all just don't know what y'all are in for. So would you guys do us a favor and come back next Monday for part 2? I know we put you on the spot. Yeah, I got my other one already put on for the following week.
All right.
Because you know this whole year we have guests. But Darcy and Danita, what you guys are sharing, there's so much more I know we got to unpack. And you can't do any of this in 30 minutes. And so I want to hear all about more from you, Danita, on, you know, the perception that we have here on who people are. And then Darcy, the perception that maybe you even had on the flip side
of America,
right. You know, or family had. And so, and now blending that together and breaking down those walls of misconception.
Yes.
So thank you guys for joining. Yeah, go ahead.
That is because the first time I went to Nigeria, the people thought that everybody lived like the old show Bonanza.
Yes.
You know, they lived, and everybody in America had these big old houses and everything. And one of my pastor friends came here, and his kids was out. He was taken to a recreational place, and he said, "I like America because everything is big. It's big." Because you know, in Nigeria, if you order lemonade, it'll give you a Sprite, and that's what they call lemonade. And then this is a regular size. This here, you can see it. This a regular size.
Oh yes.
You said, "Give me a large." A large is about like this.
So, that's it. That's it.
So communication is key.
Right.
And
it is.
And we said elevator. They said the lift. You take me to the lift. Where's the lift? So we're gonna pick back up on this. We're gonna pick back up on this.
Because I'm sure, Darcy, now you got to tag all your French-speaking friends. We got Nadine, who's joined us from Canada, and so
he knows.
Yeah. Right. And then we got. If you don't know, Darcy, we already said that Darcy is the translator at World Changers for French-speaking people who come to the ministry. But you know, bonjour. And what am I supposed to say back to Nadine?
Bonjour too.
Bonjour too. Okay. Bonjour. But we got so much to talk about, just the language, and there's so many things that we got to get to. How you get the age difference. There's so much.
How you evolved to not only as a couple but individual business interests, and then together as well, separate, but together as well. So we got a lot to talk about.
And look, and I want Darcy to talk about his business, because there's some people on here like us that are really interested in the podcasting and all the. I mean, him and Danita, they doing some. They're very humble.
Right.
First of all, we see y'all being very humble.
Right.
We know there's some more to be shared, and so next week.
But that's one thing I like about African culture. They respect people in authority. They respect people that in clergy. Everything. They are so respectful. That's one thing I took away: the utmost respect for people that are in authority, whether it was religious, administrative, police-wise, government. So we got a lot to talk about.
We do. And then I'm also curious, and y'all taking notes, because I need y'all to take some notes, because I also want to figure out how Darcy learned the language of not only English through loving you, Danita, through going through the ministry. Do you guys hear that Darcy said that he didn't speak English, and you learned how to speak English from what, Danita, or from listening to Pastor Dollar on TV?
I mean, more than either, because like when you come from overseas, you have to spend 1 year in university before you get your courses. So I spent 1 year in ESL, English as a second language. So I was learning English, and then, so my English was not like the way it is now, but it was good enough to let her know like I was interested.
And Danita, you know some French?
Impair. My friend says impair, but I know enough to know.
Yes.
Right.
We know when you're saying some stuff, Darcy. Whatever you're saying.
But that's amazing, because Pastor Freddie said he learned how to speak English by listening to Pastor Dollar.
Yes.
You know Pastor Freddie. You know Pastor Freddie.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. So we got a lot to talk about.
But briefly before we go, when we talk about Pastor Freddie came here 18 years ago, something like that. Danita was with his wife for like almost a week to bring her shop in Lenox Square Mall and everything else while I was at the church. Yes, so we did that for so many years to help CDMA. And so when we come, like now it's better now, but before we have to bring them to lunch, go pick them up at the airport, bring them back at the airport, do their reservation. Because like back then, I remember real quick story about Bishop Fuller. Back then, the phone was not unlimited. So one day I told Bishop, I said, my phone is cut off. I don't even remember that, maybe 20 years ago. He said, why your phone is cut off? I said, because I talked to pastors who tried to talk to you guys, and so they call you on my cell phone. And the bill was so high, they cut my phone off. Wow. That's a good story.
Wow.
We talk about it.
Yeah,
we talk about that too.
Yeah,
That's good.
Man,
That's good.
We got so much to talk about. So, so I know you guys don't know who Pastor Freddie is. He is the pastor. What's the name of the church in church?
Paris.
In Paris. That's right. I'm thinking Pastor Fofi, but in Paris. Yes.
It's
so,
okay.
You guys, look, we've been. I mean, just from knowing Darcy, we've learned a lot of just in ministry, and so. But we look forward to chatting with you. Could you guys give them some hand claps and some hearts?
Thank you so much. We would love to come back.
Yes, and so we're looking for, baby, you got some music to take us out for, because Darcy and Danita, I need to see them do some shoulders, do some something on the on here. And so
thank
you guys
so much.
We want you to stay tuned for next Monday. Here we go, y'all ready? GodFidence part 2. Y'all gotta dance. Come on, Darcy.
We can. But I cannot hear music. I can hear music.
Do something.
Go ahead, Danita.
Dance.
Let me hear it.
If you have some music, people dance to that.
I cannot hear it.
You got to work on him between now and next week. You got to work on it.
Yeah, I will get the rhythm. Yes.
Yes, he'll have it.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Stay tuned for next week, part 2 of GodFidence. We'll see y'all then.